desperate mother rummages through the trash behind a supermarket on a freezing night, searching for leftover food for her children. Tears freeze on her face as she wonders if God still cares about her. But there, at rock bottom, when she had nothing left but a barely audible prayer, the impossible happens. A stranger appears out of nowhere, and what he does leaves her speechless. That unexpected encounter was about to change everything. Her life, her faith, and her destiny. What began with shame and despair transforms into a story of redemption and miracles that will amaze you. It was December 2019 in Portland, Oregon, and that night was truly freezing. The kind of cold that cuts through your skin and makes your bones ache. Sarah Mitchell was 32 years old, with disheveled brown hair that hadn't seen a hair salon in months, green eyes dulled by tiredness, and clothes that had seen better days. She was there behind the Safeway supermarket, crouched among the commercial trash cans, her hands trembling. She didn't know if it was from the cold or from the shame that weighed on her chest like an impossible weight to bear. 6 months earlier, Sarah had it all. A small but tidy apartment, a job as a waitress that paid the bills, and her 2 children, 7-year-old Emma and 4-year-old Lucas, always well-fed and happy. But then came the illness. What began as a persistent cough turned into severe pneumonia, then complications, hospitalization, and hospital bills that exploded like bombs in her financial life. She lost her job because she couldn't get to work. He lost his apartment because he couldn't pay the rent. And in the blink of an eye, she and the children were living in the car. A faded blue 1998 Honda Civic that looked more like a house on wheels than a vehicle. That night, the children were sleeping in the backseat of the car, parked 3 blocks away, wrapped in a thin blanket Sarah had picked up at a shelter. They had eaten for the last time that morning, a piece of stale bread and some juice she had gotten from a church. But now, at 11 o'clock at night, Sarah knew she needed to find something, anything for their breakfast. And there she was, opening garbage bags. "Oh my God," she whispered, feeling tears burning in her eyes as she tore open another plastic bag. "How did I get here?" Inside were just wet cardboard boxes, rotten vegetable scraps, empty packaging, nothing usable. Sarah moved on to the next bag, then the next. Her hands were dirty, frozen, bruised. Suddenly, she found half a baguette, still inside the bakery's plastic bag, a little hard but not moldy. Her heart raced. It was something. It was food. She pressed the bread against her chest and felt the tears stream down her face uncontrollably. There in the middle of that dark alley, surrounded by the acrid smell of garbage and the biting cold of the night, Sarah collapsed. She fell to her knees on the dirty, wet ground, and for the first time in months, she let it all out. "God, are you still there?" She cried softly, her voice almost faint. "Please, I know I made mistakes. I know I'm not perfect, but my children, they don't deserve this. They're hungry, God. They're so cold. Please, give me the strength to survive one more day. Just one more day." It was a desperate prayer, the kind that comes out when there's nothing left. When you've tried everything and all that's left is that fragile, almost extinguished hope that someone up there still cares. And it was at that exact moment that she heard footsteps. Sarah froze, still on her knees, her heart racing. Fear. The street was empty, the supermarket closed. Who could be there at this hour? She quickly wiped her face with the back of her dirty hands and tried to stand, but her legs trembled so much that she almost fell again. The footsteps drew closer, and then she saw a tall man, probably in his early 40s, wearing a thick brown wool coat, scarf and gray wool hat. He had dark hair with a few white strands, a well-groomed beard, and eyes that seemed kind. He stopped about 3 meters from her, as if he didn't want to frighten her. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, and his voice was calm, concerned, without judgment. Sarah wanted to disappear. She wanted the earth to open up and swallow her. There she was, a 32-year-old woman, scavenging through garbage like an abandoned animal. And now someone was witnessing her complete humiliation. I'm fine," she lied. her voice hoarse and weak. "Just looking for something I lost." The man tilted his head slightly, as if he knew it wasn't true, but he wasn't going to force her to admit it. He took a step closer, slowly, and Sarah instinctively recoiled. "Look, there's no need to be afraid of me," he said gently. "My name is Daniel Brooks. I work at the community church 2 blocks from here. I was coming back from the prayer meeting when I saw you here." Sarah pressed the piece of bread against her chest, as if it were going to rip it away from her. Her eyes were wide, defensive, filled with a mixture of fear and shame. "I don't want charity," she said quickly, her voice trembling. I'm leaving now." "Wait." Daniel raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "Just listen to me for a second, please." He took a deep breath, and Sarah saw something in his eyes, genuine compassion, not the kind of pity that makes you feel even smaller. "Are you hungry?" The question was so direct, so simple, that Sarah couldn't lie. Her lips trembled and she nodded slightly, tears starting to well up again. "I have 2 children," she confessed, her voice breaking. "They're sleeping in the car. They haven't eaten properly today. I just need some food for them." Daniel closed his eyes for a moment, as if it hurt him too. When he opened them again, he had tears in his own eyes. "You don't have to go through this alone," he said softly. "Not today. Not anymore." He took a cell phone out of his pocket and made a quick call. Sarah stood there, paralyzed, not knowing whether to run or stay. Part of her wanted to escape that embarrassing situation, but another part, the desperate, tired, exhausted part of fighting alone, wanted to believe that this man truly wanted to help. "Hi, Carol. It's me, Daniel. Sorry to call so late, but I need your help. There's a mother here who needs shelter and food for herself and her children. Could you open the church's guest house?" He listened for a moment, then smiled slightly. "Thank you. I'll take her there now." He hung up and looked at Sarah with that same kind gaze. The church has a small house next door for emergencies. You and your children can stay there tonight. It has beds, heating, and will provide hot food for you. No judgment, no conditions, just a safe place to spend the night." Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. She looked at him, searching for signs of lies, ulterior motives, a trap. But all she saw was sincerity. "Why?" she asked, her voice almost inaudible. "Why are you doing this?" Daniel smiled sadly. "Because I've been where you are," he replied simply. 15 years ago, I lost everything. Job, house, family. I was on the streets for 2 years, and it was a woman from the church who found me, gave me a chance, showed me that God hadn't abandoned me. She saved me, and since then I vowed that every time I could, I would do the same for someone else. He extended his hand to Sarah, not to pull her, but to offer it. "Let me help you," he said. "Please." Sarah looked at his hand, then at her own reflection in the dirty supermarket window, a broken, dirty, defeated woman. And then she thought of Emma and Lucas, sleeping on the cold car seat, hungry, not knowing when they would eat again. And she took his hand. Daniel helped her to her feet. And for the first time in months, Sarah felt something she had forgotten what it felt like. Hope. A small hope, fragile as a flame flickering in the wind. But it was there, alive. "My car is 3 blocks from here," she said softly. "My children, let's go get them together," Daniel replied calmly. "And then we'll go to church. You'll see, everything will be all right." They walked together through the deserted streets of Portland, the cold still biting, but somehow, Sarah felt less cold now. She told Daniel about the illness, about losing everything, about the despair that had led her to that alley. And he listened. He really listened, without interrupting, without judging. When they arrived at the Honda Civic, Sarah slowly opened the back door so as not to wake the children. Emma and Lucas were snuggled together under the blanket, their faces pale but peaceful in their sleep. "They are beautiful," Daniel whispered, and Sarah saw tears in his eyes again. They woke the children gently. Emma opened her little blue eyes, confused. "Mom, where are we going?" "Let's go somewhere warm, my love," Sarah said, her voice choked with emotion. A place where you can actually eat and sleep. Lucas, still half asleep, clung to his mother's neck. Daniel grabbed the blanket and the few belongings they had in the car, and together, the four of them walked to the First Community Church of Portland. The church guest house was simple, but it seemed like a palace to Sarah and the children. It had 2 single beds in a small room, a bathroom with hot water, a small living room with an old but comfortable sofa, and a tiny kitchen. When Carol Wine, a woman in her 60s with gray hair and a motherly smile, appeared half an hour later with bags full of food, Sarah almost collapsed again. "I brought chicken soup, fresh bread, milk, fruit, and some clothes that might fit you," Carol said, placing everything on the small kitchen table. She looked at Emma and Lucas, who were clinging to their mother, still frightened, and knelt in front of them with a gentle smile. "Then I also brought chocolate chip cookies that I made today. Do you like cookies?" Lucas nodded shyly, and Carol handed him a bag full of still warm cookies. The boy's face lit up in a way that both broke and healed Sarah's heart. That night, Sarah gave the children a warm bath for the first time in weeks, dressed them in clean clothes that Carol had brought, and served them hot soup in real bowls. She just watched them eat, with that desperate hunger that children have when they haven't eaten properly for too long, and tears kept streaming down her face. "Mommy, why are you crying?" Emma asked, worried. "Because I'm happy, my love," Sarah replied, wiping her eyes. "Very, very happy." After the children fell asleep, lulled by the warmth of the heater and with full bellies, Sarah went out to the small room where Daniel and Carol were still, organizing some things. "I don't know how to thank you," Sarah said, her voice breaking. I don't even know what to say." Carol approached and took her hands in hers. "You don't need to say anything, darling. You just need to rest now, and tomorrow, we can talk about the next steps, okay?" Sarah nodded, but she had a question burning inside her. "Why do you do this? Why do you care about someone like me?" Daniel, who was sitting on the sofa, leaned forward, his hands clasped together. "Sarah, you are not someone like you. You are a courageous mother fighting to protect your children. You are valuable, you matter, and God hasn't abandoned you. He was just preparing the right moment to show you this." Those words struck Sarah like a lightning bolt. She had spent months believing that God had forgotten her, that she was invisible, that she didn't deserve help. And now, there was the answer to the prayer she had prayed on her knees amidst the garbage. "I prayed today," she confessed softly. "For the first time in a long time, I asked God to give me strength to survive another day. And then, you appeared." Daniel smiled, his eyes shining. "It wasn't a coincidence, it never is." That night, Sarah slept for the first time in months without fear, without cold, without hunger. And when she woke up the next morning with the sun streaming through the window and the smell of coffee brewing, she almost thought she was dreaming. The following days were an emotional roller coaster. Carol and Daniel introduced Sarah to the church community, a group of ordinary, hard-working people, full of faith and genuine compassion. No one judged. No one asked intrusive questions. They simply helped. A couple offered clothes for the children. A woman who worked at a school managed to enroll Emma and Lucas immediately, right in the middle of the school year. A man who ran a garage fixed Sarah's Honda Civic for free. And Daniel was always there. He helped Sarah enroll in assistance programs, organize medical debts, and look for a job. He would stop by the guest house almost every day, always with something, sometimes food, sometimes just a word of encouragement. "You don't have to do all this," Sarah said one afternoon, as he helped her fill out job applications on his laptop. "I know," Daniel replied, without taking his eyes off the screen, "but I want to." There was something in the way he spoke, the way he looked at her, that made Sarah's heart race. It wasn't pity. It was genuine interest, care, as if she truly mattered. 3 weeks after meeting Daniel, Sarah got a job as a cashier at Target. It wasn't much, but it was a start. She cried when she heard the news, and Emma and Lucas jumped for joy when she told them. "Let's celebrate," Daniel said that night, showing up at the guest house with bags of McDonald's. Big Macs for everyone. The children loved it, and Sarah realized something while watching Daniel playing with Lucas, making airplanes with the French fries and making the boy laugh heartily. She was falling in love. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. She, a woman who just weeks before had been scavenging through garbage, was falling in love with the man who had saved her. It seemed wrong. It seemed impossible. It seemed too perfect to be real. She tried to ignore the feeling. But the more time she spent with Daniel, the harder it became. He was kind, patient, funny. He treated Emma and Lucas as if they were his own children. He made her feel seen, valued, important. One night, 2 months after that encounter in the alley, Sarah was sitting on the front step of the guest house, gazing at the stars. Daniel sat down beside her, bringing her 2 cups of hot chocolate. "I thought you might be cold," he said, handing her one of the cups. "Thank you," Sarah murmured, feeling his hands brush against hers for a second. They remained silent for a while, just sipping their chocolate and gazing at the sky. "Daniel," Sarah said finally, her voice hesitant, "can I ask you a question?" "Of course. Why have you never gotten married? Carol told me you're 46 years old. But you're alone." Daniel chuckled softly, but it was a sad laugh. "I was married for a long time. But when I lost everything and ended up on the streets, my wife couldn't take it anymore. She left me, took our daughter, and I don't blame her. I had become a different person, bitter, lost, depressed. She deserved better." Sarah felt her heart clench. "Do you still talk to your daughter?" "No," he replied, his voice heavy. "She was 5 when I left home. Now she's 20. She grew up hating me, and I can't undo that. But I try to honor that pain by being a better person now, helping other people, especially other families who are going through what I went through." Sarah gently touched his arm. "You're a good man, Daniel. I hope that one day you'll be able to reconnect with her." He looked at Sarah, and there was something different in his eyes this time, an intensity, a vulnerability she hadn't seen before. "Sarah, I need to tell you something," he said, his voice hoarse, "and you might find it strange, or too soon, or inappropriate considering the circumstances. But I need to be honest with you." Sarah's heart raced. "What?" Daniel took a deep breath. "For the past 2 months, I've found myself thinking about you all the time. When I wake up, when I go to sleep during the day, I keep wondering how you are, if you're okay, if the children are happy. And I know this might sound strange because I met you at such a difficult time in your life, but Sarah, I think I'm falling in love with you." Sarah stopped breathing. She looked at him, searching for signs of lies, of manipulation, of anything that would indicate that this wasn't real. But all she saw was absolute sincerity. "Daniel, she began, but her voice cracked. "You don't have to answer now," he said quickly. "Actually, you never have to answer if you don't want to. I needed you to know that you're amazing. You're strong, brave, a wonderful mother, and I feel privileged just to have met you." Tears streamed down Sarah's face, but this time they were tears of pure joy. "I'm falling in love with you too," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I tried not to let it happen. I tried to convince myself it was just gratitude, but it's not. It's real. You made me believe again. In myself, in God, in everything." Daniel took her hand, intertwining their fingers. "So we'll take it slow," he said softly. "Why no rush? Let's really get to know each other. Build something solid. Because Sarah, I don't just want to help you recover. I want to be by your side. Forever, if you let me." That night, under the stars of Portland, with their hands intertwined and their hearts open, Sarah and Daniel began something new, something beautiful, something that seemed impossible just a few months ago. The following months were the happiest of Sarah's life. She and Daniel officially started dating, but they made a point of taking things slowly, especially because of the children. Emma and Lucas already adored Daniel, but Sarah wanted to be sure that it was real and lasting before committing completely. Daniel proved day after day that he was serious. He showed up at Lucas's soccer games. He helped Emma with her homework. He took everyone to the park on weekends. He wasn't trying to replace their father, who had abandoned Sarah when she became pregnant with Lucas, but he was being a present, loving, consistent father figure. Sarah was able to move out of the guest house after 4 months, renting a small but clean apartment with her target salary. Daniel helped her move in, assembling furniture, painting walls, transforming that empty space into a real home. "Look at you," he said one night, after the children had gone to bed. They were sitting on the used couch that Carol had donated, drinking cheap wine from plastic cups. "6 months ago you were scavenging for trash. Now you have a job, a house. Your children are doing well. You did it, Sarah, you." Sarah shook her head, her eyes shining. "We did it. I never could have done it without you, without Carol, without the church. You saved me." "No," Daniel said firmly. "We gave you a hand, but you're the one who woke up every day and fought. You're the one who didn't give up, even when you had every reason to. That credit is yours." That night, for the first time, they kissed. It was a gentle kiss, full of promise and hope, and Sarah felt something heal inside her. A wound she had carried for so long that she had forgotten what it was like to live without it. A year after that encounter in the alley, Daniel proposed to Sarah. It was at a church barbecue, in front of the entire community that had helped her get back on her feet. Carol cried. Emma and Lucas jumped for joy. And Sarah? Sarah said yes, without even thinking twice. They married 3 months later in a small but beautiful ceremony at the same church that had sheltered Sarah. She wore a simple dress that Carol had helped her choose. Emma was the flower girl, Lucas the page boy, and when the pastor asked if Daniel accepted Sarah as his wife, he answered with tears in his eyes, "I accept, forever." Family life was everything Sarah had dreamed of and more. Daniel legally adopted Emma and Lucas. They moved together to a larger house with a yard for the children to play in. Sarah got a promotion at Target, becoming a supervisor. Daniel continued his work at church, helping others in the same way he had helped Sarah. But life, as always, had more surprises in store. 2 years after the wedding, on an autumn afternoon, Daniel was in the church office when he received a call from an unknown number. He answered distractedly, expecting it to be another request for help or a donation. "Hello? Hi, is this Daniel Brooks?" The voice was feminine, young and nervous. "Yes, it's me." "Who's speaking?" There was a long pause, and Daniel almost hung up, thinking it was a prank call. But then the voice said something that made his world stop. "It's Melissa, your daughter." Daniel felt his legs go weak. He had to sit down, his heart pounding so hard he thought he was going to have a heart attack. "Melissa?" he repeated, his voice coming out as a whisper. "My Melissa. Yeah, I know it's been a long time, and I know you probably don't even want to talk to me after everything I've said and done. But I needed to call you. I needed to hear from you." Daniel was crying now, tears falling uncontrollably. "Oh my God, Melissa. I thought you hated me. Your mother said you didn't want to have any contact with me." "I said that when I was 17, Melissa replied. Her voice also choked with emotion. "I was angry, hurt, but in recent years, I went to therapy, worked through my issues, and I realized that I missed you, that I wanted to really know you. Not the version my mother painted or the version I invented in my head. Just you." Daniel couldn't speak. He just cried. Years of pain and regret pouring from his eyes. "Where are you?" he finally managed to ask. "In Seattle. I live here now. I work as a nurse in a hospital. But I was wondering if maybe we could meet sometime. No pressure, no expectations. Just talk." "Yes," Daniel said immediately. "Yes, please. Whenever you want, wherever you want, I'll go." They made plans for the following weekend. Daniel told Sarah that night, completely emotionally distraught. She hugged him tightly, letting him cry on her shoulder. "This is a miracle, Daniel," she said gently. "God is giving you back what the enemy stole." The meeting was difficult at first. Melissa was 22 now, beautiful like her mother, but she had his eyes. They met at a cafe in Seattle, and the first few minutes were awkward, tense, filled with uncomfortable silences. But gradually, the conversation flowed. Daniel told his story, the depression, the streets, the redemption through the church. Melissa told hers, growing up believing her father had abandoned her, discovering at 18 that the story was more complicated, struggling with anger and confusion. "But I'm not here to forgive you as if you needed my permission," Melissa said at one point. "But I'm here because I want to get to know you. Because I realize that life is too short to carry hatred." Daniel took her hand across the table, tears streaming down his face again. "I'm so sorry," he said, his voice breaking, "for everything you went through, for not being there, for letting depression destroy me and destroy our family. If I could go back..." "We can't go back," Melissa interrupted gently. "But we can start over, from now on." And so it began. Melissa started visiting Portland regularly. He met Sarah, Emma, and Lucas. At first it was strange. Melissa was technically the children's older half-sister, but she had grown up without them. But little by little, they built something beautiful. A patched together, imperfect, but real family. That Christmas, Melissa spent the holidays with them for the first time. Sarah made a huge turkey. The children received presents. Daniel put up a giant tree in the living room, and when everyone sat down together for dinner, Daniel looked around the table, at Sarah, the woman he had found at her lowest point and who had become his safe haven, at Emma and Lucas, who called him Dad and filled his life with joy, and at Melissa, the daughter he thought he had lost forever and who had returned to him by the grace and mercy of God. "I wanted to make a toast," Daniel said, raising his glass. Everyone stopped and looked at him. 4 years ago, I was lost. Empty. I helped other people because it was the only thing that gave meaning to my life. But I was alone. And then one night in December, I walked down an alley behind a supermarket and found an incredible woman looking for food in the trash. And I thought I was helping her. But the truth is, she saved me as much as I saved her." He looked at Sarah, who was crying silently. "You gave me a family again, Sarah. You gave me a purpose. You showed me that God still had plans for me. And now, with Melissa here, with these beautiful children around us, I have everything I ever wanted and more. So, a toast to God, who never gives up on us, who transforms our greatest pains into our greatest blessings, and who always finds us exactly where we are. Amen," Carol said from across the table, where she had also been invited as part of the family. "Amen," they all repeated. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Sarah and Daniel stayed on the porch of the house, looking at the Christmas lights that shone in the neighborhood. "Can you believe where we are now?" Sarah asked, resting her head on his shoulder. "No," Daniel admitted, kissing the top of her head. "It seems like a dream, but it's real. It's our life. Thank you," Sarah said softly, "for showing up that night, for not walking past, for seeing me when the whole world ignored me." "Thank you for taking my hand," Daniel replied, "for trusting me, for letting me love you." And there, on that porch, with the sound of children's laughter echoing inside the house and the scent of cinnamon and hope in the air, Sarah realized something profound and true. God's greatest miracles don't happen in moments of glory, but in moments of despair. They happen in dark alleys, on cold nights, when you're on your knees among the garbage thinking you're completely alone. It was there, in that impossible place, that God sent an angel disguised as an ordinary man. It was there that Sarah's life changed forever, and it was there that she learned the most important lesson of all. God is never, ever silent. He is simply preparing something greater than you can imagine, because sometimes, when you think you're looking for food in the trash, you're actually looking for hope. And when you find it, when you truly find it, you realize it was always there, waiting for you, believing in you, ready to take you home. Today, Sarah and Daniel have a life that seems impossible when you know the story of where they started. But that's exactly where the magic lies, because God specializes in transforming impossibilities into miracles. That desperate prayer Sarah made on her knees among the garbage didn't fall on deaf ears. Every tear was seen, every pain was felt. And at the perfect moment, God sent the answer, not in the way she expected, but in the way she needed. And if you are in a dark place today, thinking that no one sees you. Remember this story. Remember that the greatest encounters in our lives happen when we least expect them, and that God is always preparing something beautiful, even when everything seems lost. If this story touched you, leave a like, comment what you thought, and subscribe to keep hearing stories like this. Because everyone needs to be reminded from time to time, you are not alone. You never were. I'm leaving a video here for you to watch that you'll also enjoy.